And welcome, Mindsetters, to this session of Learn Extra Live Exam School just for you guys. Make sure that you guys are tuned in, ready to go with your pens, pads, and you're going to make some notes. I'm Ty, and I have Peter here with me who's going to be taking us to today's session. Peter, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely well, thank you, Ty. Gentlemen and ladies, I always say
let's
gentlemen, because I kind of teach in a boys' school now. I always forget the ladies. Sorry, let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, so yesterday you wrote your maths paper 1, okay? Interesting questions, but folks, today we're going to focus on paper 2. Because all the government schools out there, you guys are writing paper 2 on Monday. And so I'm going to make a special request. Please don't ask us questions today on what was in yesterday's paper, okay? That's gone, that's forgotten, don't worry about it. Today we're focusing on paper 2 type questions. Now, folks, we have an hour and a half, and this is our last live session before you're going to actually face that paper 2. Make use of the session. In other words, please feel free to send us an SMS or write on this computer thing. You'll explain how soon just now, Ty. But send us questions if you have some sort of question that you'd like me to go through, this being the last session before you write that final matric paper 2. Now, the other thing, I know we're talking about grade 12s, but if they're grade 11s out there watching, always remember grade 11, a lot of the grade 12 work, okay, is an overlap of some of the grade 11 work. So, whether you're Matthew, Colin, Jordan, Susan, Tundi, whoever you are watching there, you stay tuned if you're in grade 11 as well, all right? You might pick up some fantastic hints for your exam paper as well. But grade 12s, please write to us. I do have a whole lot of questions we're going to go through, but I'm going to stop those as soon as we have a question because the session, after all, is for you. And on that note, I'm going over there, and you're going to talk to them about this.
That's where I do the whole computer thing.
You do this.
All right. So, Mindsetters, as Peter said, make sure you use this opportunity the best of your ability. Make sure you get on the page, post us, let us know what you guys are thinking. If you're lost in, if you need help, that's why we're here. We're trying to tackle all of the areas that you specifically need help on. So, yes, post to us, and you can also hit us up at our help desk at learnextra.co.za. And Mindsetters, please do yourself a favor. Use the page. Talk to me so I can talk to Peter. Don't forget to also use Curio. Do not forget to use Curio. It's there to help you guys out. So sign up, use it. Again, help yourself out before your exam comes up. And for now, we have a session to do. So don't forget pens, pads, phone. You know, pen to write down, pad to write down something onto, and then your phone to message us. But for now, we have a lesson to do. Peter, take it away.
All right, folks. The very first kind of question I'm going to look at is this. That in paper 2, sometimes we require you to be able to look at a table, analyze the table, and answer questions on that table. So I found a question, and I've adapted it slightly, but I found a question that came out of the 2008 paper 2 IEB paper. So let's have a look at this question, and let's see if we know how to tackle this one. All right. First of all, what I am going to say is I've made it kind of a multiple choice thing. All right. But obviously, if you're in grade 12, you wouldn't really give multiple choice. You'd have to work out the answer. I sometimes tend to give my grade 11s a bit of multiple choice because I'm just trying to guide them along and help them out. Not in every question, obviously, but in one or two of them. Let's have a look at this question. Now, it says here, in each of the following, write down the correct letter next to the question number. Example, if you're answering question 1.6a and you feel the answer's A, you will write 1.6. A is my answer. Okay, let's have a look at our question. So, the following house was advertised on www.property24.com. Okay, here it is. 2,899,000 rand. House for sale in an area called Herningham Manor, which is in Santa. Geez, that's a lot of money to pay for a house, eh? Absolute fortune. But that's what the price of houses are there in this area. Okay, so now, estate, and there's the picture of the house as well, quite a nice house. Geez, I wonder if the viewer's watching. Maybe you're watching and it's your house, and you're thinking, hey, that's my house on TV. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Estate agents usually work with a table similar to the one below when calculating the monthly repayments someone will need to pay when buying a house. right? So normally what happens is you go off and you want to buy a house and you say to an estate agent, hey, how much is this house going to cost me every month? And estate agents tend to use a table that gives you a guiding line or a guidance as to how much you're going to pay for this house every month. So this is the table, and we've just extracted just a little portion of that table. Obviously, we haven't used the whole table. Okay, so how do we calculate the monthly repayment of a house? Here's a formula that's actually given to you. And it says monthly repayment is calculated by taking the loan amount, dividing it by 1,000, and then multiplying it by something called a factor. Okay. Now, gentlemen and ladies, understand, and I always say this. If you are given a formula in your exam, okay, in fact, even in a class test, but if you are given a formula in an exam, whether you're in grade 10 Maths Lit, grade 11 Maths Lit, or grade 12 Maths Lit, you use that formula. Okay? An examiner says, here's a formula, use it. Okay? Guys, it must be an automatic response. I don't want you ever to read a question, see a formula and think, geez, that's interesting. Let's just move on with the rest of the question. That's got to be part of the question. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Guys, it's like there's certain things in life where you've got to respond automatically. So, for example, and I'm talking now specifically to the chaps, okay? Guys, when your wife one day says to you, do I look pretty? Yes, dear. Okay? There's no thinking about it. It's an automatic response. Yes, dear. If she says, does this dress make me look fat? No, dear. Okay? So there are certain questions that as a male, when you get married one day, you are going to have to program within your mind to be able to respond instantly.
With no hesitation.
Okay? With no hesitation whatsoever. That is the clue here to a happy marriage. No hesitation. If you're like, well, actually, that's the end of you, okay? So, here's my dress. Does it make me look pretty? Yes, dear. Does it not make me look fat? No, dear, okay? The examiner says, here's a formula. Yes, sir, I'll use it, okay? Instant response. There's a formula, got to use it. Do we understand? Cool. Right. So, a particular client wants to know what his monthly repayments will be if he buys the house advertised above. Now, let's have a look at this house advertised above. There it is. How much does it cost? It's going to cost us 2,899,000 Rand. I'm going to write that right down here because I'm going to forget it. So I'm going to say I've got 2,899,000. Was it? Okay,
yes.
Let's just get rid of that. There we go. And 99,000 Rand. Right? So the question is, this particular client wants to know what his monthly repayment will be if he buys this house. Now, the bank is going to charge the client 11.5% interest. In other words, this is where I'm looking, chaps. Somewhere around 11.5%. Okay? On the loan over a period of 20 years. So there's two vital bits of information. Number one, the bank is saying, we're going to charge you 11.5% interest. That's number one. Number two, you've decided you're going to take it over 20 years. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and find what's the payment for 11.5% interest over my 20 years. So we're going down this column. That's where we're looking. And we're looking in 20 years. Here's my figure here, guys. 10,66. And we call that figure a factor. Right, now how are we going to calculate our monthly repayments? We are going to use this formula. Monthly repayments equals loan amount divided by 1,000 times my factor. So let's do that. So we've got our loan amount, 2,899,000. We're going to divide it now by 1,000. And then what do we do with it? The formula says you now multiply that by the factor. And what was my factor? My factor was 10,66. So I'm now going to multiply it by 10,66. And now what do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, now comes the good part. Because now all you've got to do is take out that calculator and let the calculator do the work for you. Got that? Right. Now, I hope that yesterday's exam, for the grade 12s who wrote the government paper, I really hope that you took my advice, and no matter how simple the question was, you used your calculator. Okay? Because you know now, and you've already started your exams, so you know how tense you are, how nervous you are, and how easy it is to make silly mistakes. Okay? Even I make so many silly mistakes. Even my wife makes silly mistakes. She married me. That was one. Okay, so let's move on. Out comes our calculator, and we're going to say, right, open bracket, I got 2,899,123. I'm going to divide that by 1,000, close my bracket. Now I'm going to multiply it by my factor. And what was my factor? Do you remember? Let's just shift there. 10,66 times 10.66 equals, and what's my answer? There it is, hey? 30,903 Rand and 34 cents. And guys, if you're doing this in matric, okay, and we're talking to matrics, if you're doing matric, that would be your answer. If you were doing it as a multiple choice question, and there's nothing wrong with the examiner deciding to throw in one or two little multiple choice questions, okay? But you can see here that the answer's on my screen. 30,903 Rand and 34 cents. There she is over there. And so my answer in this case would be number D. All right? Do you see how we've had to look at those tables? And remember, in your exam, paper 2, you're expected to read different types of tables. What other kind of tables could we give you? Well, I know as well that in 2009, I think it was, or 2010, the examiners took out the table from the AA website. Okay, and I'm not talking about the Alcohol Anonymous one. I'm talking about the Automobile Association website, which shows how much it would cost for you to run a vehicle. Okay, in fact, some weeks ago, we did a question just like that. We had a whole lot of tables, and we had to read from those tables. You've got to know how to do that, guys. You've got to know how to extract information. Okay, let's go on to our next question. Now, my next question. 5,000 Rand is invested at 2.8% interest compounded monthly. Calculate the total in the bank after the 2 years. You'll need to use the following formula. A is equal to P, bracket, 1 plus I to the power of N, where A is the total amount in the bank after the 2-year period, P is the amount that you initially invest, I is my interest rate, and N is the number of times the interest is calculated. Okay, there are a whole lot of answers given to us at the bottom of the screen. Let's not worry about that at this stage. Let's just try and solve the question. Okay, so A equals P, bracket, 1 plus I, all to the power of N. How much are we actually investing? Here we go. We're investing 5,000 Rand. So I'm going to say 5,000 Rand. And guys, this is a typical paper 2 question, hey? You know, paper 1 would have been calculate simple interest. It could have been calculate compound interest compounded annually. Paper 2 now we're saying compounded monthly. All right, so 1 plus, what's my rate of interest? Well, let's have a look at that rate of interest. We told we got 2.8%. Now, guys, if I've got 2.8%, we know that 2.8% means 2.8 divided by 100, which is going to give us 0.028. It is not going to give us 28 or 0.28. Let's prove that. Let's take out our calculator again. Okay? So we're going to say we want 2.8 over 100. And this is a huge mistake matrics make. Equals is to D, there it is, 0.028. So many matrics make that error. where it's 2.8%, and they say, well, 2.8% is 0.28. No, it's not. That's 28%. Watch out for that in your exams if you get something like that. Okay, right. So we've got 0.28%, but we're told quite clearly that it's compounded monthly. Oops, let's get a pen. Let's use a nice pink, okay? Compounded monthly. In other words, I'm not calculating this interest after every year. I'm not saying let me keep the money in after a year. Now that a year's gone, I'm now going to add interest. Not at all. I'm going to calculate that interest after every single month. So I'm going to divide it by 12. And how long am I doing this for? I'm keeping it in the bank for 2 years. Was it 2 years? Let's just double check ourselves. Yeah, it is in the bank for 2 years. For 2 years. But I'm not just calculating it twice. Remember, I'm doing it on a monthly basis. So I'm doing it 12 times a year. So I've got 2 times 12. Okay. Oops, that is a 12, believe it or not. Let's just get rid of that quickly. Right. 2 times 12, which we know is 24. So my answer is going to be 5,000 bracket 1 plus 0.028 divided by 12 all to the power of 24. And my calculator is going to do this for me very quickly. I'm going to shift my calculator to the side. And we're going to say, right, we've got 5,000 Rand. We're investing it. 1 plus, open bracket. We've got 0.028 all over 12. Close that bracket. And it's all to the power of 24. And my answer is 5,287. Do I have it here? 5,287 Rand and 64 cents. I do indeed. In this case, my answer is going to be A. So, we've got off to a quick start already. And already I've been told it's time for an ad break. Huh?
Yes, and I'm scanning the page. Mindsetters, keep on chatting to us. Keep on letting us know what you guys are thinking. If you're lost and if you need help, use this time. This time is for you guys to get your questions in so we can help you guys out. Because yes, do not forget, we're still trying to unlock that next level. So make sure you stay tuned to the page and share responsibly. Otherwise, our page will get closed, So don't have that happen. But yes, we're also going to be doing the draw much later. So I've got the draw box next to me, so it's not far. So we're going to find that winner. But for now, stay tuned. We'll see you later. And welcome back, Mindsetters. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been posting on the page. It just make my day awesome. So keep on posting the page. Keep on using it. Guys, it's for you guys. So make sure you utilize this time to get all your questions in that you need, because I know you guys are writing really, really soon. So help yourselves out. But on that note, Mindsetters, we've got a session to do. So, Peter, take it away.
Absolutely. And, there's something I've got to share with you. Every now and then I have a real experience that happens in my classroom, and I just feel I've got to share it. And that's sometimes quite humorous. But earlier this week, I was teaching a guy, and I'm not allowed to mention his name because otherwise Jordan's going to be embarrassed. But I was teaching this guy called Jordan, and I said to him, I was getting frustrated with the guy because he just wasn't listening to me. I said, Jordan, what is half of 8? And he said, well, that kind of depends, sir. I said, depends on what? He says, well, that depends how you halve it. So, what are you talking about? So he says, well, look here. If I halve it this way, it's 0. And if I halve it this way, it's 3. I think that's kind of cool. I really do. I think that's so clever. All right. Okay, but let's get back to some good business. Next question. Guys, this next question is quite important. It deals with time. Okay, and the whole idea why I've chosen this specific question is to make sure that you know how to add up different hours and minutes. Okay, and understand something that in a paper too, it might not just be a question isolated by itself. In fact, it won't be. It could be part of a whole series of questions. So let's read this. So David John has a new computer game, and during his 1-week midterm break in June, he spent the following time playing with his iPlay game. Okay, is there such a thing as an iPlay? I made up this question. Is there such a thing?
No.
No, not at all?
Really?
No, I'm sure there is, man. Anyway, okay. So, Monday, he spends 2 hours, 23 minutes playing this game. Tuesday, 38 minutes. Wednesday, he spends 1 hour, 16 minutes. Okay? Thursday, 1 hour, 47 minutes. And Friday, only 21 minutes playing the game. Here's the question. What was the average time he spent per day playing his iPlay? Okay, if there is such a thing as an iPlay, which I've now been told there's no such thing. All right, so let's look at this, and we're going to do this question in two ways. The first way we're going to do it is we are going to add up and do the whole thing manually. And the second way we're going to do it is we're going to do it with our calculator. And that's the important one that I think we have to know how to do it. So let's look at this. So here we go. I'm telling you, I've got 2 hours, 23 minutes on Monday. Right. Tuesday, he plays with his little TV games for 38 minutes. Wednesday, he plays for 1 hour and 16 minutes. Thursday, 1 hour, 47 minutes. And finally, Friday, only 21 minutes. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, there are two ways to do this. The first thing we're going to have to do before we do this question is rub out this 8 and this 0 and this 3, otherwise we're going to get nowhere. Okay, now that we've done that, let's add up all the minutes, guys, and see how many minutes we have. And we know that for every 60 minutes, that counts or constitutes an hour. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So my calculator, I'm going to flip it to this side. I'm going to say, right, I've got 23 minutes plus 38 minutes plus 16 minutes plus 47 minutes plus 21 minutes. And I'm getting a total of 145 minutes. So I have 145 minutes. When I add up the hours, I've got 2, 3, 4 hours. Right. Now, gentlemen, you know I cannot, and I may not, and ek mag nie, give my answer as 4 hours and 145 minutes. So what I've got to try and figure out now is how many hours are there in 145 minutes? Okay, let's think about it. So there's 60 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 120 minutes, okay? 3 hours, 180 minutes. We've only got 145. So I know I've got 2 hours there. So I've got an extra 2 hours. Now, 120 minutes, 130 minutes, 140 minutes, 145, extra 25 minutes. So I've got 25 minutes. 4 and 2 gives me 6. So my total now is 6 hours, 25 minutes. Do I have that answer? Yes, I do have that answer. So, folks, that's one way I can do it. But there's an easier method, and we've looked at it before, and I'm going to look at it again. Let's take out this calculator. Right, now, if you look at my calculator, you will see that there are a whole series of buttons. I know I've done this before, but guys, got to get it right. So let's look, okay? If we look at this, oops, I can't do that and to look at the calculator. All right, so let's just look at the calculator. If I look at my calculator, I can see that I've got here the 0.258. Just above the 8, I've got that funny word ENG, okay? And above that ENG, I've got a circle and a comma, comma, comma. Right. Now, that circle, comma, 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 and let me write it down so you can actually see what it looks like. So it's a circle, comma, comma, comma. Okay? Now, if I were to use that button, that button is my time button. Okay? But gentlemen, a calculator is a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal thing. But it cannot think for itself. So you've got to guide that calculator and tell that calculator exactly what you're meaning. So every time I push that funny little time button, and I don't know what button you call it, I call it a time button, okay? Every time you push that time button, it's saying, oi, We finished working with hours. If I push that time button again, it says, oh, now we've been working with minutes. And if I push that time button one more time, it says, oh, hey, now we've been working with seconds. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's add up all this time for the week. Here we go, and let's have a look. I'm going to shift my calculator again. I've always got visions of my poor dear producer trying to find the calculator here. Okay, so here we go. Right, we're going to add up 2 hours. So I push 2. Then I push my time button, and can you see on my screen, it gets like a funny little square. That's saying, wait, you've got 2 hours, pal. Now I push 23 and I push my time button again. That means you've now got 23 minutes, and I've got no seconds. And you know what, guys? Just get into a habit. Always tell your calculator how many hours, how many minutes, how many seconds, and then you're not going to mess it up. So I've said, okay, calculator, I've got 2 hours, I've got 23 minutes, and I've got no seconds. To that, I'm going to add no hours, okay, 38 minutes, and no seconds. Can you see how that 38 falls under the minutes section and not the hours? Because if it starts falling under hours, whoosh, you're going to land up with major problems. Right. Plus, I have 1 hour, time button, 16 minutes, time button, and no seconds. Plus, what else do I have? I have 1 hour, I've got 47 minutes, I've got 0 seconds. Plus, what else do I have? I've got no hours, I've got 21 minutes, and I've got no seconds. Push equals, and voila, guys, there's my answer, hey? 6 hours, 25 minutes, and no seconds. And do I have that? Yes, I do. Here it is, 6 hours, 25 minutes. Okay? That calculator is your buddy. And you should always, always, always use it as much as you can. Okay, next question. Incidentally, before we go on to the next question, what I've got to say is this. We've had a question from, who was it?
It was Joy.
From Joy. And Joy is saying, please, can you go through a question on tax? Joy, we're going to do that for you. Right, I've got a question on tax coming up later on in the program, and we're going to try and tackle that question for you. So we're going to look at a tax type question. So Joy, thanks for that email. We haven't forgotten about you, and we will get on to it shortly.
And Dimakatso also, with Joy, was like, please do tax. I was like, okay, we'll do tax.
Who was that?
Dimakatso.
Dumakatsu. Okay, so all you guys, in fact, the week before that as well, there were other people. So we haven't forgotten about you. We'll get on to that. Now, here's an interesting one. Love this question, eh? Because it's a kind of trick question. Here it is. Which statement best describes the graph below, which depicts the costs involved with using a cell phone? So here is a cell phone, okay? Charges for using peak minutes. I think it says, off-peak minutes. So we're going to use our cell phone off-peak minute times. What do we mean by off-peak? Well, guys, first of all, you get peak and you get off-peak, right? Peak time is normally that time when businesses are operating, right? So it's normally, it all depends what service provider you're using. It depends whether you're using a cell phone or a landline. But peak time could be from 7 in the morning right through to 7 o'clock at night, or to 8 o'clock at night, or to 6 o'clock at night. It all depends what service provider you're using. In other words, if I make a call between those hours during the day, I'm going to be charged a certain cost, okay? And it's going to be quite pricey. But if I make a call after hours, or what we term off-peak hours, so let's say from 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, whatever the case may be, right through to the next morning, I'm going to pay a lot cheaper rate than that. Okay, so that's just the difference between peak and off-peak. But that's not the emphasis of this question. Let's have a look at it. What does that graph actually describe? So we've got our cost in rands and the number of minutes used in a month. And obviously, guys, this cost is going up. Okay, so there's a certain amount of money we're paying every month, and the cost is getting higher and higher and higher and higher as we go up on the graph. Number of minutes you've used, this is obviously no minutes. I haven't spoken at all, and I've spoken a few minutes and a few more and a few more and a few more and a few more, etc., etc., etc. Now, we're not given an axis on that graph. And so the question or the little statements are very important to answering this question. First one, A, does that graph describe 1 rand per minute? Okay. Well, if it described 1 rand per minute, it would mean, and I'm going to use a different color here. Let's use yellow. Why? Because I want to. 1 rand per minute would say, if I spoke for no minutes, it's going to cost me no money. If I spoke for 1 minute, it's going to cost me 1 rand. If I spoke for 2. In other words, that would be that graph. Is that what I see? No, it's not. So it cannot be statement A. Let's have a look at statement B. Statement B says this. It's going to cost me 1 rand per minute on a contract. And the contract costs 100 rand a month. Okay, so let's pretend this over here is 100 rand value, right? So I'm paying the 100 rand whether I make a call or not. Oh, the graph's starting to look good. So what happens now if I speak for 1 minute? Well, I'm going to pay 1 rand for that minute plus 100 rand for the actual fee. So what would my graph look like? Well, after 1 minute, I'm going to start paying. So my graph now is going to look like that. Well, that's not the graph we have either. So let's try and look at the next one. Okay? C, 1 rand per minute on a contract worth 123 off-peak minutes per month. And the contract is 100 rand per month. So if my contract's 100 rand a month, it means I'm not starting at 0, I'm starting up here. Ah, that's starting to look good. What happens if I talk for 10 minutes? Well, first of all, I'm going to be paying nothing extra for those 10 minutes. Why? Because I'm told I have 120 free. So if I talk for 10 minutes, I'm not paying for the call, I'm just paying for the contract. And the contract is 100 rand a month. So if it's 10 minutes, that's what it's going to cost me. Okay? If my wife gets on the phone to her mother and they talk for 100 minutes, well, it's still not going to cost me anything. Okay? But as soon as I reach 121 minutes, I'm now going to start paying. So if this over here is 120, now I'm starting to pay. Guys, can you see what's happening? This is the graph which describes, or that statement C describes this graph very well. We're starting at 100 rand a month. We're paying 100 rand right up to 120 minutes, so we're getting 3 minutes, so my line is staying horizontal. My cost is 100 rand. That's where it's staying. Only after a period of time does it now begin to climb. And there it is there. I love this statement over here, number C, D. There's no cost involved when making off-peak minutes. Well, guys, that's just not true. Okay? If there was no cost involved whatsoever, my line would be a flat line on my horizontal axis. Okay? And that's not the case at all. After this question, what we're going to do is we're going to tackle a lovely one on, let me just try and remind myself, on a wonderful project that took place just outside the town of Franschhoek called the Berg River Water Project. And it is a lovely question all about it, and it involves a lot of calculations with finding areas and volumes and the flow of water. It's a brilliant question. I absolutely love it, but we'll do that after the break.
Yes. So mindsetters, as I've been saying earlier, keep on posting, keep on letting us know what you guys think. If you're lost anywhere, if you need help, let us know so we can help you guys out before your exam. Utilize this time. It's the best time for you guys to get all those aching questions out of the way so you can help yourselves out. But for now, we can see you after this break. And welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. Now you're back, you're ready, you've got your pens, pads out on your phone, and you're going to make sure that you're writing notes and talking to us on the page, which you should be doing, and letting us know what you guys are thinking. And don't forget, we're trying to unlock the next level. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their friend to tell their friends to make sure that they get on the page and talk to us and join in, and so we can help them out. So you grade 11s and the grade 12s tell the grade 11s to tell the grade 10s to tell the grade 9s. You see that maths, hierarchy. Anyway, we've got a lesson to do, so Peter's going to take it from here. Peter, take it away.
And if you don't have a friend, well, that's just tragic. That's really sad. All right, so then you can't tell anyone. Right, folks. Some years ago, before I came up to Joburg, so I've been living in Joburg for 4 years. I cannot believe it, all right? But before that, I was living in a little town called Franschhoek. How's it to all my buddies out there? And what I found so fascinating was I was there at the time when this wonderful Berg River water project was actually installed. And what that was all about was this. Someone one day said, you know what? There's always so much snow on the mountains. This region has so much rain, and all the rain comes down the mountain. We just lose that water. Let's try and catch that water, and in so doing, be able to supply Cape Town with water during their summer months when they don't have rain. And that's what the whole project was all about. And I've always been fascinated with this project, and because of that, I came up with this question, and I just thought, this is a great question to put in an exam. And although it's not in a grade 12 exam, it could well be in a grade 11 exam at some stage. So if grade 11s are watching, hey, this is a super question. But the techniques that we're going to learn from this could be vital for your grade 12 exam. And that's what's important about this. Let's understand all the thinking processes that go behind it. Okay, so the Berg River Dam is the centerpiece of the Berg Water Project, which is designed to capture the winter rainfall and store it to supply water to Cape Town during the summer months. And there on your screen, I don't know if you can see a stunning picture there of those wonderful, wonderful mountains in that Franschhoek Valley. And as you can see, all the water gets captured on those mountains. They all run down to little rivers or tributaries, and that all runs into this wonderful dam which they've built. And over here on the screen, and let me try and write on it, over there you can see this dam wall. And that dam wall is actually in the form where it's not quite, it's just a straight dam wall. Okay? It comes almost as a triangular prism, but obviously the top is kind of cut off. Okay? And there's a road across there, and I think a few vehicles can drive across or whatever the case is. Okay, let's have a look at the question now. The dam wall is filled with rocks and soil. What capacity, rounded to the nearest cubic meter, the nearest cubic meter of filling is used in the dam wall if the dam is 68 meters high? Sorry, I just want to get rid of that. That should have been like that over there, cubic meter. Okay, so the dam is going to be filled. How much filling are we going to use if the dam is 68 meters high on average, 0.929 kilometers long, and on average is 35 meters wide? So like I said, the dam wall is in a weird kind of triangular shape, but the average width, so if I took the, what's the word I'm looking for? The minimum width and the maximum width and averaged it out round about 35 meters in width. Okay, and here it is now. So we need to know the volume of rocks and sand that's going to fill this whole dam wall. Now they give us a formula, guys, and the formula says this. Volume equals length times breadth times the actual depth or the height. Okay. So, two important things to remember when I answer any LO3 question. In other words, when I answer any question on area or volume. Okay. Even perimeter, actually. Firstly, number one, make sure you use the formulas that are required. Number two, make sure my units are all the same. What do I mean by that? Let's have a look at this. We told the wall is 68 meters high. We told, though, it's 0.929 kilometers long and on average 35 meters wide. So we're dealing with meters and kilometers. We've got to get them to the same unit. So let's do it. Firstly, the length. How long is this damn wall? We're told it's 0.929 kilometers. So 0.929 kilometers. How many meters are there in a kilometer? Guys, you're expected to know that. Okay? So obviously there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So if I were to multiply this now by 1,000, and again, don't feel shy, don't feel embarrassed, use your calculator. Okay? Why not? So 0.929 multiplied by 1,000 equals, and there's my answer, 929. So I'm going to land up here now with 929 meters times. What's the breadth of that wall? And we're told that it's around about 60, on average 35 meters wide. So 35 meters times the depth, and the depth is round about, we're told here, 68. Okay? So the wall is 68 meters. Now, all we're going to do, our calculator, it's going to do it all for us. So we're going to say 929 meters multiplied by, let's go over this side again, 35 meters, and multiplied by 68 meters equals, okay, and there we have it. It's a huge, 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 huge number. Are you going to remember this number for me? Okay, so here we go. Type. So I've got 2,211,020. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, because I'm going to forget about it, and I've got to write it down right now. So what is it, Ty?
211,020.
Yeah.
020, yeah.
Okay. And that is meters cubed. Why cubed? Because we're dealing in volume. And guys, you're going to lose marks if you don't do that. Okay? We've had this discussion before. Area, always squared. Volume, always cubed. Don't mess it up. All right. So there's our first question. What was the trick there? If that's a paper 2, the trick was giving you different units, and you got to get them to the same unit. My next question. So here it goes. In 1989, the planning for the Bergwater project was estimated at 1,877 million New Zealand dollars. Jeez, that's a lot of money. However, the project only cost the country 1,552 million New Zealand dollars in 2009 when it was actually built. Now, here's a question. Write down 1,552 million as a whole number. Now, guys, that would never, ever, ever come up in a paper 2, all right? But it might come up in another question, and you've got to know how to actually change that number to a whole number. So let's write that down. So we know it's going to be 1,552, and it's million, hey? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's an answer right there. Huge number, huge answer. Got to know it. We're doing in millions. Let's move on to my next question. My next question says this. Now, in 1989, the planning for it was, like I said, 1,877 million, but it didn't land up costing us that. It actually only landed up costing 1,552 million. Now, use the exchange rate shown below, or using the exchange rate shown below, answer the following questions. In 1989, 1 New Zealand dollar was worth 1 Rand 54. In 2009, 1 New Zealand dollar was now worth 5 Rand 56. How much did the project actually cost in South African rands? Okay, so we know it's 1,552. Let's write that down there. So we got 1,552, and it was million, so there are a whack of noughts. Okay, multiplying that now by what? Well, what was the exchange rate in 2009? It was 5 Rand 56. So multiply it by 5 Rand 56 equals. So our calculator is going to do all this work for us. Okay? And we're going to say, right, let's go over here. We've got 1,552 million. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're multiplying it by the exchange rate. And what was the exchange rate? 5 Rand 56 times 5.56. So how much is that actually costing? My goodness, Ty, you're going to have to remember that number as well, because it carries on forever and ever and ever and ever. Let's write it down. 862 912 0000. Okay, let's write that down. And Ty, I'm going to need that number later on from you. Okay. So let's go for it. What is it?
862 912 0000.
0000. Okay. In other words, guys, sure, that's a lot of money, hey? That is actually lands up being 8,629,120,000 rand. That, guys, has cost a whack of money. Okay. Let's go on to our very next question. Our next question.
Is that not 8 billion?
8 billion? Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Okay.
Right.
Or 8,000.
Yeah.
Cool. Even though the project seemed to have cost less than expected when comparing the amount to New Zealand dollars. Do you remember initially they told us, hey guys, great news. This is actually going to cost you 1,877 million or 1,877 million. Okay? But we're reducing the cost for you. And instead of costing so many million New Zealand dollars, we're only now going to cost you so many million New Zealand dollars. However, here's a question. Even though the project seemed to have cost less than expected when comparing the amount in New Zealand dollars, show that it actually cost South Africa a lot more money, okay, in rands due to the weakening of the rand. And you know what, Ty? I've messed up, eh? Can I tell you why I've made a mess? Look what I actually did. In fact, no. Let's go for it. No. We're doing right. Okay. Sure. It's bad when you doubt yourself, eh?
Yeah,
right.
but it's always good to check. It's always good to check.
And guys, that's going to happen in an exam, hey? If you're doing an exam and suddenly you say, oh, my goodness, I think I've made a mistake. Let me check. Hold on. You know what? No. Calm down.
I'm okay.
It's all under control. I'm all right. Let's move on. Okay. So, here's the question. So, now what's happening is this. In the previous year, they said, you know what? It's going to cost 1,877. So, 1,877 million. There it is. But in 1989, when they gave us that quote, every New Zealand dollar didn't cost us 5 Rand 56. Then it was only 1 Rand 54. So we're now multiplying this by 1 Rand 54. So let's do that on our calculator. Okay? And we're going to say, let's go over here again. 1,877 000 multiplied by the smaller number now of 1 Rand 54. And now I get my answer of, can I ask you to write this down because I'm going to go back to the previous page. Okay, here we go, Ty. 2890 58 0000.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm going to ask you to give me that number right now. Okay, so give it to me.
It's 28
Yeah.
90.
Let me get a pen. Hold on. 28
90
90
58
58
00
00
00.
Okay. Have a look at that, guys. Right. Just have a look at that. You can see that although it seemed a cheaper quote in New Zealand dollars, because the rand had weakened so much, that's what it actually cost us, and that's what we initially thought it was going to cost us. All right. All because of the exchange rates. Right. Time? I think it's time for us to have a break. And then I think after that I've got to tackle a tax question.
I think that would be a plan because we
Okay.
have those requests coming in.
Right.
So mindset is make sure you do not disappear. Do not go anywhere too far away from your TV screen. If you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. If you have to go get something to drink, go get something to drink. But make sure you come right back after this break. And welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. Now you're back, you're ready, you've got your pens, pads out, and your phones, and you're ready to write down these notes. It's so important, so important. I want to remind you, stick around to find out who's the winner for that awesome tablet. So make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be doing the draw much later. So, for now, we have a lesson to do. So, Peter, take it away.
Right, folk, and I must admit, I do apologize. I thought this was our last segment, so I said we were going to do the tax question. But we're going to have another ad break shortly, I suppose in about 10 minutes or so. The producer doesn't know that, but it will be in about 10. And then after that, we'll take another short break. I'll get that tax question up on the board behind me, and then it'll give us a little bit of extra time to do that tax question, and then, of course, to do the draw as well. All right, so my next question now is this. So when the Berg River Dam is completely full, it is designed to release 200 meter cubed of water every second. Now, guys, that's quite a bit of water, hey? If I take a meter and a meter and a meter high, so I've got a box a meter long, a meter wide, a meter high, right? The Berg River Dam can release 200 of those in every second. That's how much water can just come out of that dam if they need to release some water. Okay, here's a question. Now, if, considering that 1 meter cubed of water, so 1 meter cubed of water is equivalent to 1,000 liters, answer the following question. How many liters of water can the Berg River Dam release every second? Well, that's going to be easy, isn't it? Because I know it can release 200 meter cubed of water. I'm going to multiply it by 1,000 because every meter cubed is worth 1,000 liters. So when we do that, we're going to get 200,000 liters of water every second can be released from that dam if the need be. Okay? Ty, I need you to write that figure down for me. All right, so 200,000. My next question is this. Now, considering the St. College 50-meter pool, which is 50 meters in length, 25 meters in width, and 2 meters deep, determine how many liters of water their pool can hold. So now what we're doing is we're getting a swimming pool, a school pool. And we're saying, well, how much water can that hold? We know how much water can be released in a second, okay, from the dam. Well, how much water can be held in a swimming pool? Now again, folk, we get given a formula. And our formula is length times breadth times height. Okay? So how long is our pool? We're dealing with a pool 50 meters long. How long's the breadth? Around about 25 meters. And the depth, we're told, is 2 meters. Okay. Now, when we take out our calculator and we do that, we are going to say, right, it's 50 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 2, and I get an answer of 2,500. 2,500 what? 2,500 meters cubed. Have I answered my question? And guys, that's an important thing to ask yourself when you're writing these exams, okay? Especially you grade 12s on Monday. Read the question once you think you've answered it. So here I am. Now, I know I haven't, but let's just pretend. Let's pretend I think I've finished answering this question, okay? And I'm saying, right, there's my answer. Let's read it again. Determine how many liters. I haven't answered the question at all. I've just worked out the volume of the pool, not how much water is inside that pool. So I'm going to multiply it again by 1,000. Okay? So when we multiply it by 1,000, I'm going to land up now with 2,500,000 liters of water. So I need you to write that one down as well, because we're going to use that in our next question. Okay, so that's how much water contained in the pool, and the last question was the amount of water that we had in the dam. Right, my next question now is this. if the Berg River released 200 meter cubed of water every second, how many of the pools, okay, could be filled in 1 minute? Wait, that's an interesting question. And there's a lot of work involved here. Nice paper 2 question. Let's have a look at it. So, we know that every single second we are releasing 200,000 liters of water from the dam. That's seconds. The question is saying how many pools could be filled in 1 minute? Now, if we know how much can be released in a second, in a minute, we've got to do what? Times by 60. So let's do that. So we're going to multiply that now by 60. So I'm now going to say, right, we've got 200,000. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, sorry, hold on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. Okay. Right. Nothing worse when you get mixed up with all the zeros. Eh? 200, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Multiply that by 60 seconds equals, and there's my answer, okay? 12 million, right? So it's now 12 million. So it's 1, 2, and then we've got 6 noughts.
Yes.
Got that? Right. So 1, 2, and 6 noughts. That's how many liters of water can pour out of this dam in 1 minute. Now the question is, how many school pools can we fill in that 1 minute? How many liters were in the pool? We wrote it down.
It was 2,500,000?
2,500,000. Just like that. Agreed? So now, let's do this. Let's take the 12 million liters of water, divide it by the 2,500,000, and see what actually happens here. So we got that on our calculator. Divided by 2,500,000, 1, 2, 3 equals, and my answer is 4,8. So my answer now, I can fill up 4,8 pools, school pools, okay, all within 1 minute of water flowing over the dam, or the Berg River Dam. Okay?
It's a lot of water.
It's a lot of water. But bearing in mind, hey, we're not talking about a normal pool. We're talking about a pool that's 50 meters long, 25 meters wide, and 2 meters deep. We're talking an Olympic-sized swimming pool here. All right? 50 meters, 25, 2 down, and we can fill 4,8 of them within 1 minute. Amazing. Okay? You try and fill up a school pool by putting in a hose pipe and see how long that takes you, let alone filling up nearly 5 of them within a minute. All right. Right, my next question says this. Now, the entire Berg River Dam can store so much water. Okay. 1,3 times 10 to the power of 11 liters of water. Write 1,3 times 10 to the 11 as a number. All right. Guys, that actually came up in a paper 1. I think it was last year sometime. But the only reason I've thrown it in here now is because we're probably going to use it for a question later on. So, I've got 1,3. Now, folk, look what I'm going to do. Let's pretend I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to go randomly and add zeros. Here I go. Okay, a whack of zeros. Now, let's take another color. I've got to move that comma how many places? 11. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what's my answer? 1, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? That's how many liters of water my dam can store if it's full. Right. That's a whack of water, guys. I'm not even going to try and say that number, okay? But it's 13 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zeros. Yes, like. Okay, let's move on. Next one. Now, how many, I love this question, how many of those 50-meter pools, okay, could be filled with the water from the Berg River? Now what we're saying is this. Let's take all the water in the Berg River Dam. Okay? And let's see how many Olympic-sized swimming pools we can fill with water from that one dam. And I need to stress this, the Berg River Dam is not the biggest dam in the Cape either. Okay, right. So, here we go. How much water is there? Well, we know this, It's 1, 3, and then there were 10 noughts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, and we're going to divide that by the amount of water that fills in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, which we worked out to be... This is my handy assistant. 2,500,000.
Yes.
There we go.
I thought we had used that number before, so I was like, wait, which one is it? Right. You see, the zeros. It's the zeros.
Right, so now out comes our calculator. Our calculator is now going to say, oh my goodness, what are you doing to me? Right, so here we go. So it's 1, 3, and 10 noughts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to divide it by what? We said 2,500,000. 500, and then 1, 2, 3, and the answer then works out to 52,000. Okay, 52,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools can be filled from the water of that one little dam outside Franschhoek. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Absolutely. I know our time says we've got about 3 minutes 50, but we did say to our producer we'd be taking an early. She's probably panicking now trying to find
where's the button? Where's the button?
But I want an extra time to work on the text question after this.
I think that would be a good idea.
Great.
All right, so mindset is, as Peter said, make sure you tune in. I know you guys have been asking for that text question, so hey, it's coming up. So make sure you do not disappear, because we'll see you after this break. That's what I was wondering. And welcome back, Mindsetters. As you can see, my desk is pretty full right now because you know what time it is. It's time for that draw because we have found a winner. So we haven't found a winner. We have to still look in the box. What am I talking about? But anyway, yes, we have this to give away. So Mindsetters, this is the prize. And I just want to say, this is pretty awesome. I would want one for myself, but I can't really take one because it's not allowed to.
So apparently the winner's in here, is it?
The winner is in here, so
my
we'll
goodness,
open
how many people entered?
We had a lot. It was amazing.
Holy cow. All right. So you're going to hold it.
Alrighty.
I'm going to open the box.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to shuffle around here and hopefully we get a winner. All right.
Alrighty.
Right. I've got someone here. Here we go. Should I put this box away and you can read out the winner?
Okay, because I'm the one who always butchers the names, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yes, and the winner is Velamini William. Congratulations, you're going to get this awesome tablet sent to you. But don't forget to get on the page and let us know. Send us your details so we can get that stuff to you, messages. Also, email helpdesk@learnextra.co.za and win@learnextra.co.za. And make sure that you claim your prize because we want to send this to you. So congratulations again, Velamini William. Yes, I'm so terrible.
But I hold that because you're holding it behind the screen and no one can see it. Now they would have better view it.
So you're going to do your showgirl.
No, that's done.
Okay. Anyway, moving right along.
Right, folks, let's get going. We've got to tackle this text question. And my producer's shouting in my ear because she forgot to turn the mic off earlier, and so I heard the whole conversation that was going backstage there. But apparently we've got around about 14 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's get this done. Text question, lovely type of question for a paper too. It's come up quite often in the IEB papers. I've found that it hasn't really come up in the government papers, maybe once or twice where they've said, what is the tax if he pays 45% tax or whatever the case may be. But very seldom have they used an actual tax table. But it doesn't mean they can't do it. So let's have a look at this tax question. So behind me here now I have a tax bracket, tax thing. This actually, by the way, I took off the website this very morning. It's from the SARS website, and it's for our 2012-2013 tax year. So it's not even for the tax year that we've just had. It's still going to come into play. So when you calculate your tax for, March next year, this is a tax table you're going to be using. So you can see here, now for individuals, we have a tax bracket 1 right through to 6, and then it tells you your income. Please take note, guys, that this taxable income they're talking about, Okay, let's use a pink color on a yellow background. That's better, right? That taxable income, folk, it is imperative that you understand that is your yearly income. Guys, you got to remember that, please. Okay, rates of tax then, we're going to show you how we use all this very shortly. And then there's this thing right at the bottom of your table called my tax rebate. Tax rebate is basically like saying, the tax man is going to say, look, we will allow you not to pay the first bit of amount of money towards tax. So if your tax is 11,440 Rand or less, you don't have to pay the tax man any of that tax. Okay? But we'll show you how that works later on. All right, so let's use an example here and try and implement this whole table. Let's pretend, and guys, I've got to use a half figure here. And the reason why I want to use a half figure is because I don't want to just deal here with tax bracket number 1 or number 2. So let's pretend I'm earning a salary of 21,000 Rand a month. Geez, that would be nice. Eh? I think that's what our producer earns. We only earn the 1,000. She earns the 20. So together. Yeah. Okay. So let's pretend now we earn 21,000 Rand a month. Now take note of that, a month. So if I earn 21,000 Rand a month, and I'm going to call this my taxable salary, right? Because when we earn a salary, there's certain things which we don't get charged tax on. So, for example, if I've got out a certain life insurance, or if I pay medical aid, certain bits of medical aid, and I know the medical aid rules have changed, but certain parts of medical aid are deducted from paying tax and everything. So let's pretend after all my deductions, 21,000 Rand is my so-called net salary, okay, or my salary that's going to be taxed. So how much am I earning a year? Why do I have to know a year? Because this tax table is all about the tax per year. So I'm earning 21,000 Rand a year. Here it is, 21,000, a month. I'm going to multiply that by 12 to see how much I earn in a month. And so we're going to say, right, 21,000, 1, 2, 3, multiplied by 12. That'll tell me how much I earn in a year. And in a year, I earn 252,000 Rand. Okay? So 252,000 Rand. Just incidentally, if you're grade 11 and you're watching the show, please don't panic. This is not in your syllabus, all right? So you shouldn't have a question on this at the end of the year. So if you're in grade 11, hey, go have a cup of tea. Or stay tuned. You might learn something for next year. Okay, so 252,000, what I earn a year. Now, where does this fit into my tax bracket? If I look carefully, I can see it fits in here, into tax bracket number 3. 252,000 Rand fits in here. I'm going to use another color because now I've got orange all over the place, or pink all over. Let's go green, okay? So we're using tax bracket 3. That's the bracket in which my salary is, and that's how much salary or tax I'm going to pay. So what's that telling me? It's saying to me, okay, guy, first thing is this. You are going to pay up front 51,300 Rand. Where do I get that from? I get it from there. Plus, you're going to pay a further 30%, okay, of all the money that's higher than 250,000 Rand. So if I'm earning 252,000 Rand and I subtract 250,000 Rand, obviously, guys, I'm going to be left with 2,000 Rand. So I've got 51,300 plus 30% of 2,000 Rand. Okay. Now again, this is where we sit back, relax, and enjoy the fact that we have a calculator who's going to help us out here. All right. So I've got 51,300 Rand. I'm going to add to that 30% of my 2,000. Close brackets. And there's my answer, voila. 51,900 Rand. Okay, so 51,900 rand. That's how much tax I have to pay every year. But hold on. Remember that funny little thing called a tax rebate. In other words, the taxman says, we won't charge you, okay, 11,440 rand. In fact, it's like saying, you know what, we're giving you a discount of 11,440 rand, right? There's a further rebate which we didn't talk about. Let's just look at this. A secondary rebate, which means if you're 65 years and older, not only do you get the 11,440 rand as a discount, but you're going to get a further 6,390 rand as a discount. Okay? And if you like my mother-in-law and 75 years and older, okay, and my mother-in-law is older, right? So 75 years and older, you're going to get a further 2,130 rand off. How phenomenal is that? So let's pretend in fact, let's not pretend, we all know the truth. So I'm 28 years old, and let's pretend this is my son. Why are you laughing now, Ty? You've just wrecked the whole show here.
No, I was just minding my own business.
Okay, all right, let's be more realistic then, all right? Let's pretend I'm my producer's age, round about 48, okay? And so now what we're saying is, if she's 48, this is the rebate she's going to get. 11,440 rand. So we're now going to subtract 11,440 rand. So on my calculator, I already have the 51,900 minus the 11,440 rand equals. So the tax now is only 40,460. So 40,460 rand. That's the tax. The question could go a little further. It could actually go on to say, all right, hold on. So that's the tax you pay a year. How much tax do you pay in a month? Well, then it's easy, hey? We're just going to divide that by 12. Because then 12 months in a year. And guys, we all know that. But you know how many matrics make that silly mistake of wanting to divide by 10? I don't know what it is. I think it's nerves or something. But then all of a sudden you say, they're 10 months in a year, divide by 10. Because our whole decimal system is to do with 10. Please, guys, remember 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, okay? 24 hours in a day. Got that? And in the same way, 12 months in a year. Got to remember that. So let's divide that now by 12. Dividing it by 12 equals, and here's the tax I pay every month. 3,371 rand 67 cents. Ty, you're going to remember that, hey? 3,700.
No, 3,371,000.
Okay.
Yes.
3,371,000
and
71 rand. Ty has not been of great assistance today. Let's have a look. 3,371.
I was close. I just didn't remember the double six.
Okay. Comma 67. And remember, folk, we round to 2 decimal places. Why? Because we're dealing with money. Okay. I hope that helps you out with this whole question to do with tax. All right. It can get complicated, but you know what, folks, a few things just to remember. Number one, know what tax bracket you're dealing with, okay? Then you're working out the amount of money you're paying up front plus the percentage of an amount above whatever they tell you it is. And if you follow the simple rules, you can't go wrong. But practice, eh? Go home, practice. In fact, what am I talking about? Go home. You probably are home. Go to your desk after the show and practice and practice and practice and practice. You've got to get it right. Okay. We do have 4 minutes left. And I thought for these last 4 minutes, unless there's some weird and wacko question that's just come up.
Or not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Yes, I've been scanning and there have been requests for a couple of things. One of them was, I said, tax. Just scanning now.
Okay, well, while you're scanning,
While
let
I'm
me
scanning.
I thought what I'd do is I would end the program with the following. First of all, to say thank you to you viewers out there for watching us, for your wonderful, wonderful support. And you know what, guys? I wish you absolutely everything of the best for your exam on Monday. After the show, I think there are some still some revision sessions. They're not live, but they have been pre-recorded. Well worth staying tuned and watching it because we're tackling certain topics along the way. Special thank you as well to our producer and our team back there. Been phenomenal. They're here every single week, every single day, doing their things, and I think they've done an absolutely sterling job. And then to Ty and your crew, Indiana and Jaco, the whole lot, fantastic, and it's really, really been a good series. And I hope that you won't be tuning in next year, because if you are tuning in, it means you're doing Maths Lit again in grade 12. But if you're bored and you just want to sit back, relax, and get a bit of entertainment, you tune into us. But guys, last few minute tips. Number 1, answer all your questions. Okay. If you leave a gap, if you leave a space, if you get to a question and you cannot answer that question, right? You attempt it. No matter what, you try your best. Because if I see a script, and I'm marking exam papers at the end of the year, and if I pick up your script and I see a blank page or a blank space, guys, I cannot help you. I cannot find marks for you. There is nothing to mark. But if you attempt something and you make a huge mess of it, you never know. You might still pick up 1 or 2 marks. So do not ever leave out a question. You might want to leave it out while you're busy with the exam and then finish your exam and come back to it. But always come back to it and always answer every question. Okay? The next thing is this. Formula. Okay. If you get given a formula, you use the formula. You've got to use that formula. All right? Please don't just think, why is this formula here? What must I use it for? You use it. Third thing. Now, I know this is rich coming from me, but I battle to write neatly on this board. Guys, write neatly. Okay? When I get to my exam venue and I get there at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning and I start marking exams and I finish up at 6 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock at night or whatever the case may be, if I pick up your script at 3:30 in the afternoon and it's one almighty mess, oh man, it just like discourages the markers. If you've written neatly, underlined your answer, leaving spaces between the different questions, an examiner picks up that script and you know what they're saying? Hey, I'm going to enjoy marking this script. And I'm not going to make any errors when I mark it either because it's so nicely laid out. Guys, from me, that's it for this year, in fact. It's quite sad, actually. But thanks for absolutely everything. Ty, over to you.
Yes, so Mindsetters, I hope you enjoyed the show. I just want to let you know that today was the last Maths Lit, but exam school is still going on, so make sure you tune in. Check on our events page for that information. But for me, as Ty, I say thank you very much and see you next time. Cheers.